everybody. Thank you so much for attending this webinar today. We've got Kendall on, and I am showing my screen, so let me go ahead and make this a little bit bigger. There you go. Uh, we've got Kendall on from Snappy Kraken, and I'm super excited. They put a lot of thought into this presentation. And as you know, it is a very volatile market right now. Yeah, we don't know if the S&P is going to be up, down one day from the next day. And so they've very thoughtfully put this presentation together to help agents in their marketing. So I'm super excited to have Kendall on. Thank you so much for being on here, Kendall. And I'll talk a little bit about IMS right at the beginning, like we usually do for our new agents, and a good refresher for our agents that have been here for a little while now. So without further ado, I'll just jump right into it. Let me close this. So first, we do have our new producer builders. When you sign on to IMS, you have a ton of opportunity to start building your business. As you can see, we start off at the $100,000 level, go all the way up to the $1 million level. And with this, you have 180 days from your first contracted day here with IMS to be able to have a bunch of incentive for your marketing. Snappy Kraken included, of course, we have marketing reimbursement, but for every $100,000 of annuity premium that you're doing, you've hit that first level and you can start contributing some of that money if you'd like to programs such as Snappy Kraken or any kind of marketing that you like to do. If you like doing mailers, that's in that first level, an iPad, $750 cash, or if you're doing a bunch of production and get up to the $1 million level, um, what I usually find is that agents of this level, they usually like to focus in on one carrier or a couple of core carriers. If you get to this level, as you can see, that definitely goes up to some seminar opportunities that you can do, some newspaper opportunities. Yes, we do have some older people that still use a newspaper, and especially here in Omaha, Nebraska, and different videos that we can put together for you. And so what I will say too is here on this screen, you see a lot of different incentives. Definitely don't be limited because like I mentioned as well, Snappy Kraken is also something if you're interested in, we can look into working into your new producer builder. And then once you have graduated from your 180 days, we move you on to the next business builder that we have here for your marketing. And that would include marketing reimbursement. So you do have a marketing dollars account for every $100,000 of premium that you're doing on the annuity side. On indexed annuity, you do get $100 back, and the life equivalent is for every $100,000 of premium that you're doing, you get $200 back. For life target, uh, this is going to be more well known to our life guys that are just more established on the life side, SPL and life target, they'll know what we're talking about. But $10,000 of life target premium, you get $200 back. So a lot of good incentive all around, both in the first 180 days and then continued on for your time here at IMS. What we also have as a business builder is the referred producer program. We know that there's a lot of people that are one man or one woman show. They don't always have an agency. So for every referral that you get, you do have a little chance to earn a little bit of override. And so we know that you guys have a bunch of maybe family or friends that are also in the insurance industry. When you refer an agent to us, we give you a $50 one-time bonus when they do contract with IMS. And that is as a thank you for referring people to us, because just like with you guys, referrals are also a good lifeline for us. And you do, like I mentioned, get a little bit of override. So these are Charles and Steve's favorite checks to sign. For every indexed annuity, you get about 0.20% of an override. On the MIGAs, 0.10%. And then for life, Target and single premium life, it looks like you get 0.15% and 0.075% on any of the business that we're writing. So these are paid out on quarterly statements. So really good incentive there to refer any friends or family that you have that are also in the industry. What we also have here at IMS is the best back office support. I'm a little biased because, of course, I work here in the office, but I say this because I also used to be a field agent, and so I know what it's like to go through long wait times. I know what it's like to have to kind of do everything on my own. And so, what I will say is here we have the best back office support, not just because of all the tools that we have on our IMS portal, but also because of the people that we have working here. Not everyone, no one else has a Mackenzie Abbott or a Natalie Goss or a Ben Lopez or a Sam working on the casework that they do to get that issued as quickly as possible. And we have a very uh, tight niche here that we have. We definitely run a tight shift when it comes to getting business issued. So we have a very good back office team, and then we also have all of the tools available on the IMS portal. You're able to do all of your business pretty much in one place once you are contracted with IMS. So that's really nice. And you also have quoting tools. You've got free access to Annuity Rate Watch. So lots of good opportunity there. If you haven't tapped into the IMS portal, we've also got good specialists that's able to get you through that. And then, of course, you've got your directors that you're able to reach out to. And then, like I mentioned on the IMS website, this website, your IMS portal, this is open to you 24/7. So if you're doing any kind of studying as well, our sales resources library is a really fantastic tool that I like to use. There's a lot of good prospecting material in there, as well as educational material. Lots of great concept pages, because if you were taught like I was taught to sell on the concept. So a lot of the concepts in this library are really good to take and run with. So I would highly encourage you to jump on there if you have not gotten onto the sales resources library yet. And like I'd mentioned again, we've got quoting tools. You have your all of your e-apps available on that portal. And as well, on the life insurance side, you do have a whole underwriting guideline along with an in-house underwriter. So there's really a lot of opportunity to succeed with IMS here just on this one website alone if you like to be a little bit more on the independent side. These are our e-app solutions. Like I mentioned, you could do all of everything you need to do on that portal. We work with Luma, Firelight, iPipeline, Sunfire, and then of course we've got our lovely case managers. So if you have any questions on this, a lot of times we honestly just even have some agents call us and ask us how to use this stuff. So definitely, if you have any questions or concerns with any of these e-app solutions that you may already be using, certainly let us know. And then of course, we use SuranceBay for contracting. What we also have here are creative services. We're really blessed to have an in-house creative service team, in-house creative department, which we've been hiring a lot of new friendly faces here because we've had an influx of agents that have been using services, or they've been doing all of this stuff on their own. Agency solutions like business cards, brochures, content creation, both on the physical paper side and on the digital side. We've got what happens a lot from what I see as a marketer is a lot of these agents are doing all this stuff themselves, taking valuable prospecting time away from them because they have to put their own content. We have a lot of pre-made content that we put together. And then, of course, we've got very valuable relationships, like with Snappy Kraken, for example, where we have content creation that's available to you. And so we're really blessed to have the relationships that we do. We're really blessed to have the in-house department. If I ever am in a rush or need something done pretty quickly, I can just walk right over to the office and say, hey, I need this pretty urgently. So sorry, can we push this to the top if we could? And they're all so nice. They definitely have been very accommodating. So that is a really nice feature that we have here at IMES. And then again, they help you with your agency solutions, digital solutions, turnkey options. So feel free to give us a call, ask us about this if this is something you're needing, or want to devote more time to prospecting or more time servicing your clients. I would definitely say this is something we can take off your plate for you. Next, we do also have our IAMS Wealth Management. Now, this is a separate department from the insurance side, of course, but it is all under the IAMS umbrella. And what I will say about this is they've got a great starter program for aspiring agents trying to get onto the security side. And then they do also deal with very experienced advisors that have been doing this for a long time. They can handle it all, and they're also some of the nicest, most professional guys that I've ever met. And they're pretty much right down the street from our office because, like I said, they're all under the same umbrella, but they're separate because we're insurance only, and then they're the AUM side, RA side. So if you have this aspiration, certainly give us a call and we'll connect you guys. Or if you are already a registered rep, certainly get in touch with these guys because they certainly know how to conduct business in a way with integrity and also get you the numbers that you're looking to achieve for the year. We do have a Life and Annuity Academy that's coming up. We actually just had one recently pass by. Our next one is going to be June 4th through the 6th, where we'll have different vendors. We'll have two carriers are going to be hosting this next one. We'll have Silac and Augustar hosting this one. This is a great way to increase your revenue for the year and the following years because there's a lot of tools that you could pick up from this. We put together um, a lot of different segments, and then of course you get to network with some really good producers that we have at these academies. So certainly let us know if this is something you're looking to do, and we'll send over the registration link. We also have our incentive trip, our trek to Quebec, and this is going to be over in Canada. So one of the other IMES blessings that we have here is the fact that we don't only have carrier incentive trips, we have IMO incentive trips. So this is your overall annuity and life insurance production that you can put toward qualifying for one of our incentive trips. And we do one every year. This one is going to be in Quebec City in Canada to a hotel I cannot even pronounce. So certainly give us a call if you have any interest at all in qualifying. If you're new to IMES and you regularly go on your incentive trips, certainly give us a call so we can give you the qualifications. It looks like we are very close to the end of the qualification period, but there is still time, and I've seen people do it a bunch of times because they've got a lot of good business to just bring over. So the end of this qualification, if you really want to go to Quebec City, which I would not blame you, I certainly would love to go, June 30th, 2025. And so this pretty much concludes us on our IAMS value propositions. If you have any questions or concerns, if you're newer to IAMS and you just want to learn more, because that was a very quick, sweet and simple to the point type of presentation on our IAMS value propositions, definitely give us a call. We're more than happy to help and to talk with you and really see how we can improve your practice. At the end of the day, that is our end goal and why we have these webinars. So I'm really excited to turn this over to Kendal because she does a really great job and her team put together this great presentation, which I'm really happy for you guys to see. So Kendal, you still there?
Microphone is on mute, but I think
There
we
you
are.
are. I think we're rolling, so I'm going to change the presenter over to you and you could take the floor.
Okay, quite exciting to go to Quebec. That is a pretty good incentive trip that I would also love to go. So let me
Yeah.
this up and running. And Everyone bear with me. I generally am on Zoom, so we are looking, I think, at a presenter view. Is that correct? I think there's a blue bar around this, so it looks like it. Let me
Yeah.
go with everything.
Yeah, I know Zoom is usually, I wonder if we're going to continue to use GoToWebinar. Um, I know they've talked about maybe switching over, but I'm not sure to what platform.
Sure, I know.
There
Okay,
you
so now I'm seeing that online. And let's see if I move around. Okay. All right. Well, we all made it. Thanks everybody for joining me. Here at Snappy Kraken, we really appreciate working with partners like IMS. I know that you guys have a lot of resources through IMS helping you to weather these storms and weather the changes that come with being an advisor, being an agent, taking care of your clients, and helping you grow through these types of uncertainties. So that's exactly what we want to do here at Snappy Kraken too. I've spent a lot of time preparing for this presentation today because I believe this information is really, really helpful for any type of advisor, whether you've been doing this for the last 30 years, maybe you're new to the industry and you're just getting started. The whole point of this is really to lead with that calm, act with clarity. So we invite you here because we understand that with the market turbulence, there's more calls, there's more voicemails, there's more rebalancing, more reassurances, right? There's a lot more on the plate. You already have a lot on a day-to-day basis. And we recognize if that, especially you're compensated based on AUM, which may not be the case for everybody, but I know that IAMS has a wealth management division as well, your revenue can drop. And during those times, we know that that can be a really stressful experience too. So this is a phenomenal time to show your value to your clients and then to potentially grow through all of this. So that's what we're going to talk about today, how to deliver value right now in a scalable way for your clients and how to grow through this. So let's get started again. I'm like, where is full screen? All right, so people, if we look at some of the data, people are scared. I think that's an easy thing to read, right? Emotions are high. Your clients say that they're long-term investors, or that they're not feeling the fear, but that may change, right? When the markets drop, that fear, it increases. And right now, fear is creeping in. The headlines are incredibly loud. The group chats could be even worse. I know I've been in some. I'm sure you have too. You might be thinking that my clients won't panic. I talk to advisors every day. I talk to agents every day, and most of them say, we prepared for this. My clients, they're not going to panic. But let's be honest, some of them absolutely will. Some of them will call you in a frenzy. Some are going to move to cash. Some won't call at all. And then you'll find out later. And so we want to be able to bypass all of that, not because we don't think that we've already created this plan with our people in hopes that we have, but because fear it tends to be faster than logic, right? We are not logical human beings. That fear can creep in and we can start to act quickly, make mistakes, and we want to be able to make sure that your clients and your prospects, they feel comfortable in all of these changes. So that's where you come in. This is your opportunity. This is the opportunity to be calm, to have a voice in this, your presence, and that's what's going to keep everyone engaged, everyone on the same page, and making sure that everyone feels comfortable with their plan with you. So at Snappy Kraken, we've done our fair share of data. I think every time I jump on here, we always have quite a bit to show. And what we found is 62% of Americans are fearing that the government instability will harm their financial well-being in the next 12 months. So there's a lot of fear going around. We're not really wired in ways for investing or really, to be calm with our finances, especially when things are happening with the government and there's major changes, right? As humans, we chase this pleasure. We really want to avoid pain at all costs. We react emotionally. And so we tend to not be super rational when there's so much noise around us. And so right now, you have to think about your clients, think about your prospects. You know, they may be facing a lot of changes. They may be in this like herd mentality, understanding what everybody else is doing, looking around and jumping onto that fear bandwagon. They may have the confirmation biases. You know, so at Snappy Kraken, we really focus in on what those behavioral investing and financial biases are, which ones are at play, because those become the weaknesses of us people naturally. But what the issue is that they can be really dangerous if we leave them unchecked, right? People are scared when emotions are high. Decisions can get really messy. Your clients may be at that freeze, maybe they're panic selling, or even worse, you know, they're going silent and you don't hear from them. I talk to advisors every day and they say, you know, I've only gotten one call, so really I don't think my clients are that fearful. But the fear is that they don't call and you don't hear from them. And then later on, they go to someone else for that expertise because they're not hearing from you. So we don't want that, because you know as much as I know that their success is your success, right? So if we want to keep them on the straight and narrow, keep everything calm, then we need to intervene and be the voice of reason here. Jumping ahead, but I like to think about this as turbulence, right? If you've ever been on an airplane with some turbulence, it's very similar in that way, right? You're not flying the plane, you're just sitting in the seat. You know, you don't really know where that turbulence is coming from. You start to get anxious, you're looking around, everyone's starting to freak out. There's that one person in the back that's really having a hard time. And it's hard to not, you know, fall into that trap of worry and anxiety. So what you're really looking for in that moment, it's not necessarily a full explanation of what is happening in the turbulence and when it's going to end and how you're going to make changes. But you do want a little bit of reassurance, right? You want the pilot to come on and say, this is what's happening right now. Everything's going to be okay. You just sit tight. You know, we got this handled. It's just a little bit of reassurance that we're looking for as people. And that's exactly what your role as an advisor is. You are the pilot. You're here to give a little bit of reassurance. You don't have to give the full breakdown of what's going on. You just have to let your passengers know that we planned for this. Everything is going to be okay. This turbulence will end. This has happened before. It actually happens all the time. And you know, blue skies are coming. So just, you know, if you need any questions, if there's anything that's top of mind, you can ask a flight attendant or they can come straight to you, right? But you are the pilot. You need to give a little bit of direction when flying this plane. You know, because the you know, what's on the line is so high that if you don't intervene, if you don't give some direction, people really start to fear. You know, anybody as an advisor, you know, any advisor really could be a great advisor during a bull market. But right now, this is the moment. This is your time to show your value. It's not really in just the plan. You know, I think there's times where you've talked about this with your clients in the past and talked about how you prepared for this, but it's again reassuring, bringing that back up to them that you're not just managing their money, that you're actually helping to manage their emotions. You know, I think what people are looking for these days goes beyond just investing, but also, you know, is there to be a full-time expert when things are starting to change. I think I went out of full screen. Let's see how I get back into that. There we go.
Yeah, I was
So when
trying
we,
to reach Julie to make sure that everyone's able to see your screen. Looks like there was someone here that said they couldn't see the slides, but I could see them, so I think you're good.
okay. All right. So, you know, if anything changes, you guys just let me know. We're working with tech, so we're always doing our best on these. But if nothing else, hopefully these words resonate, right? When we fear or you know, when we go silent or we're not reaching out, we've found some studies from a couple of reputable sources, right? Financial Advisor Magazine, we have Y Charts, Smart Assets. 72% of clients said they fired their advisor due to the advisor's failure to communicate on a timely basis. Now, I know some of you may not be focused on the AUM in this, but the key here is that one, people are moving on or finding a second opinion, not based on, their outcomes of their financial well-being, but because they're not hearing from their trusted source enough. And so what this does is open opportunity for other advisors to step in and be that source of reason. So, 85% of investors said the frequency and style of communication from their advisor played a role in their decision making. Now, talking to advisors every day, most of them are not communicating on a regular basis. They are sending out a quarterly market update. Maybe they're sending out, an email here and there. But this does open an opportunity that if other advisors aren't communicating, there's a huge percentage of people that are looking for another professional. And so this is your opportunity to jump in and be that source. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Here at Snappy Kraken, that's what we want to be able to provide you with information on how to communicate effectively. Number one, how to stay visible, and then how to continue growing. Because in these times where people start to get more frantic, you really have to step up your communication game, right? There are strategies on how to do this. I almost said hacks, but that's really not it. There's strategies that will work well in this type of environment, times of volatility and uncertainty. These opportunities create real growth. If you've been in this industry for a long time, you've probably been through other market volatility, other dips, other recessions, and you know that this is a great opportunity for you to grow your business. So we need to learn really how to communicate effectively. And I think the best way to do that, and those at Snappy Kraken do too, that the best way to do that is really to communicate with empathy, right? That's the number one thing here is if we can communicate with empathy, we can get down to what's really going on, then people start to respect that way more. The foundation of good communication is that people really want to hear it from you straight, especially in times like this. They're not getting it straight from anyone else. They're not hearing it straight from politicians, from news sources. Everybody has their own agenda right now. So if you can step up and give it to them straight in this tough time, show them some empathy, show them some awareness that you see them, that you hear what's going on, and that you don't downplay this, you really build your credibility and start to, show that you are a credible, trusting source that people will want to work with. So I like to talk about the 3-part framework that really helps to communicate. So if you think about what those 3 parts are, one is acknowledgement, right? Acknowledging their emotions, letting people feel seen. Number 2 would be reaffirming the plan. So, that we've talked about this, that there is a plan in place. And then number 3, reminding them what not to do. Don't freak out. Everything is fine, right? You're the pilot. You have a plan. Everything is good. So use something like that. Here's another example would be something like, I know this feels scary, but remember, we built your plan for times like this. And the worst thing we can do is react emotionally. So you can build this yourself and you can DIY that, but I can also show you how Snappy Kraken makes that super easy for you to communicate. So that's a loop that we use quite often in our communication. I think it's a loop that you can repeat as well because it truly works. So point 2, let's talk about that. That comes down to your leadership. When you lead with calm, when people feel confident in you, in your tone, in your voice, it sets a precedent that people can follow, right? Your energy will definitely affect them. So your calm, your clarity, keeping the messaging steady, helping them tune out the noise, not adding to the panic. If you're helping to fact check all of this misinformation, verifying what's out there, and then giving them clear and accurate information, they tend to stick with you, right? And if you stick with me in the next 15, 20 minutes, I'm going to open up the presentation to show you how we use the 3-part framework. I just showed you, how we make it super easy in these timely communications that we're creating every single week for you guys. So we typically create 2 per month because that seems to be the best cadence for professionals, agents to be reaching out to people on a regular basis. But right now, because there's so much turbulence going on, we're creating an email every single week. It takes no time of your own to create, no creativity, right? As Snappy Kraken, as your partner in marketing, we are enabling you to be successful here. Just a few seconds really to send this all out. If you're using any CRMs like Redtail, Wealthbox, Salesforce, a few others, then there's potential, that it won't even take you a few minutes. You could do this instantly, and I can show you how to set that up. So the thing is, you don't want to blast people all the time with endless information, and you don't want to be vague. I think that's a big portion in the way that we communicate. This has to be clear. People want something of substance. They don't want just the classic, everything's going to be okay, don't worry, we've been here before. People are hearing that all the time. Your clients, your people, they want to see the data, they want to see the stats. They're craving substance because really people are looking for something to cling on to. So let them cling on to you, right? This is how we grow their business. This is how we make more revenue, is by offering that, being that stable staff where people can cling to and have some level of certainty when working with a professional. And that is something that you can provide through messaging, through content, through campaigns. And that is the role of content, sending them the type of messaging that calms their nerves, doesn't confuse them, keeps them on track. And I have these conversations most days, and I hear that advisors and agents are sending out a lot of market commentary, which can be helpful. But what really works is using things like short form videos of yourself, something that's very personal. You want to have something like notes of encouragement, using some type of optimism. I've read those newsletters. They're not always the most optimistic outline. Sometimes they're a bit fear jarring. So notes of encouragement are great. And then, some type of explainer graphic, a visual, because your calm voice, your calm tone, the confidence in your presence, that is better than any market report, right? They are not advisors or agents themselves. They want to rely on a professional to be able to break all that down for them. So the first 3, right, using plain messaging, leading with calm and clarity, using data. But then I also mentioned using some visuals. So this is a really cool campaign. Check this one out. It's 11 emails that we created with Carl Richards as a visual opportunity to be able to send this. It's turnkey. I picked one out of the bunch of 11. And it's a really nice way to include messaging, have the text, have the data, but then also use something where people can visually learn. I think a lot of people are visual learners. So this type of information, it really lands, it's easy to comprehend, and it's creative. So people, they feel connected to you like you're doing something very personal for them. So this is in the Snappy Kraken library. If you want to see more of the Carl Richards campaigns that we, collaboration that we did with him, we called that's his behavior gap. And I can show you how to deploy those out as well. It's a really great campaign to be able to use. So those are the first 3. Adding in some reassurance, using some visuals, but we also want to offer our accountable next steps, right? What are we going to do next? We talked about not having just the okay, we've been here before, don't worry, everything's fine. It's really about offering something that people can cling to, giving your clients direction, giving them a choice. You don't want to over solicit these endless communications. A lot of times we'll see marketing companies, there's a lot of fluff. But at Snappy Kraken, what we want to do is make sure that you give your clients a path forward, that if they need to talk to someone, you're there, right? Offer the opportunity. You don't want to be pushing them to book meetings with you necessarily. We just want to open up that communication that if they need you, you are available because you're going beyond just the money. You're really there for them as a business owner who cares. And that makes a big difference in growing your business and retaining clients. So When we think about utilizing timely communication, that's the best way to do it. Here are some examples of the way that we do that here at Snappy Kraken. We talk about, I won't sugarcoat it. It's been a tough time for the markets. It's no surprise if you're feeling uneasy, you're definitely not alone. Here's what I want here's what I want you to remember. So, we're doing this all the time in our timely communications. Like I said, we're producing one of these timely emails every single week. You can send these to your clients. I also talk to people doing these with centers of influence. Creating credibility with the partnerships and the networks that you create for yourself are a great way to build credibility with those people over time. Stay top of mind so that when you come in contact with those centers of influence, or they come in contact with a referral that would make sense for you, you're top of mind in their inbox as well as for your clients. You could even send these to your prospects. They're really informative, so it's a great way to be able to share this information. So if you're not using these timely communications that we're providing, maybe you're a Snappy Kraken user already on this call, maybe you're not. These are designed to accomplish exactly what we've been talking about. Communicating to people in the right ways, using the principles of behavioral investing, behavioral finance, modern psychology, right? How are people thinking about all of this? And then tailoring these tones to the messaging to make them land well. So if you're already Snappy Kraken client, you're likely seeing these campaigns dropping weekly in our library right now. They're written for moments just like this. But if you're not using them, or you want to go deeper, maybe you're not a Snappy Kraken user yet and you would like to check them out, I would love to show you how. Normally, I don't open up my calendar for one-on-one demos. I stick to the partnerships, working with IAMS, doing a lot of webinars, but right now I want to make some exceptions. So I am opening up my calendar because I want to make sure that the IAMS agents and advisors, that your guys are feeling confident, you're feeling supported, you feel seen. And so whether that's customizing campaigns or helping you to boost your visibility, maybe it's even just creating better client communications to generate more referrals for yourself, I'm here to help. So if you want to go beyond what we've covered today, let me drop my calendar in the chat for you. See if everybody can get that. Here's my meeting link. You are welcome to book a demo with me. I'll tailor it to your specific needs, to your clients, to your market, to your brand, and we can have a one-on-one conversation. So feel free to book a time through that link. But let's keep going. Let's talk about how to drive some visibility into your business. Actually, I forgot that we had some examples of the timely email. So if you wanted to see what some of these look like, here's a couple of examples. Tariffs, triggers, market slide. That's one of our newest. But you'll notice all of these are really relevant. As soon as something happens in the markets, in the world, something like the LA fires, right? We have something that you're able to share, position yourself as an expert. So here's another way, sorry, to book a demo. You can also scan this QR code, but I dropped my meeting in the chat. And so how do we create more visibility into our business? How do we get more eyes on it? How do we get more connection? Because right now, I keep clicking out, what keeps people engaged, entertained, what makes people actually want to talk to you is the authenticity and human connection. And we like to think about it through video. Okay, something's happening with my clicker.
I'm not sure what that sound is, but I could see your full screen.
Okay, I'm like, it's clicking through. Let's see how I'm sorry, everybody.
It's the market, guys.
Really the market, it's not me. Um,
I am really loving this presentation so far, though. It's definitely brought a lot of like empathy, a lot of relationship type of work to the marketing, which, in all honesty, I really don't see a whole lot when it comes to marketing amongst other programs. This is a very personal touch, especially in such a time. So, yeah, I would definitely encourage you to click on Kendall's link to book a demo with her, and then that QR code, if you got it, of course, we'll have the recording up, but also reach out to me and I'll send you right over to Kendall. She does a great job with all of this.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, I think empathy is really the only way to move forward. And that's like for ourselves, giving ourselves some empathy, giving our clients and our prospects the same type of thing. And that really is what's working best in marketing, having that authentic human touch. Um, and we talked a lot about kind of that text portion, having the emails go out, but there's a whole nother opportunity to be able to share this through video, right? So the more visible that you are, the more clients trust you. And right now, trust is everything. This goes for prospects too. Sometimes your prospects, actually, most times, your prospects need more of those trust builder exercises to really start conversations with you, to book more meetings with you. So if you can instill that trust is the strongest currency that you have right now. So visibility, right? It doesn't just mean mass emails or news updates. It really means showing up like a human being, like a guide with a calm presence for your people. So one of the best ways to do that we find at Snappy Kraken is through short form personalized videos. So that is really just 30 seconds, just a quick check-in. You know, if you do something of, I'm thinking of you, here's a clip of maybe something that's going on post-market drip. You know, you could show a face, show a little bit of your voice, and then they can start to recognize when you feel certain about things. That can start to alleviate some of their uncertainty. You know, you don't need to have a studio. This doesn't have to be professional. It doesn't have to be perfect. You just need your phone, maybe your laptop, and do exactly what I'm doing here. Imagine you're sitting sitting across from one of your potential clients, one of your clients. It doesn't have to be perfectly polished. It just has to be you. Because when your clients hear your voice and when they see your face, they can start to think, my advisor, my agent, they've got me. And that changes everything for your people, right? When you can just share a little bit of reassurance. Going back to flying the plane, you're the pilot, we're in the turbulence, just let them know everything's okay. That's really the key to this communication. So when it comes to these videos, I do talk to quite a few people who create some, but there's a ton of advisors and agents who are not creating video at all. So if we look at some of the stats of how these videos perform, 117% better email open rates, 120% higher click-through rates. 120% higher click-through rates, that's double what text only would typically produce, sometimes more. People are curious, they want to see that human connection, right? So being able to share this is so important, but it goes beyond just recording a video, posting it on YouTube, and then like hoping and praying that people show up and watch that video. You need a way to deploy this. Like I said, we integrate with all of the major CRM systems to make your workflows incredibly easy, but we also give you what we call a personal connection video campaign. So you can deploy these. Maybe you record on Vidyard or Loom or YouTube, however you want to post these, and then you're able to use Snappy Kraken's campaigns to get these out to more people, get more eyes on your content, on your videos. We're creating visibility into your brand, into your business. So like I said, if you want to take a deeper look, we have, I can show you 40 different video scripts that we have in the library. You don't have to reimagine or reinvent the wheel and try to create your own scripts. You don't have to know how to do all of this. We give you all of the resources, a step-by-step guide on how to. So if you want to see some of these video scripts, feel free to book some time with me. We also have these timely emails. You pick one of those, you look through the timely email, one that you like and that you can talk about, that has a graphic, some type of, visual that you can talk through. And again, you sit in front of your computer as if you're sitting across from one of your clients or your prospects, and you just talk to them. Just a 30-second quick intro video to be able to pop this out to people, and you'll see a huge uptick in how people engage with your content. So personal connection videos, we think that's wildly important in how to stay visible. So we talked about how to communicate effectively. We've talked about how to stay visible, but now let's talk about how to grow, which I think is probably why a lot of you have come to this webinar. I am hoping because the opportunity is absolutely there. So if we want to talk about how to grow, it goes back to those data points that we talked about earlier, right? That a lot of advisors and a lot of agents, they are silent right now. They are fingers crossed that everything goes back to normal, but it may not happen that way this time, right? 72% of clients fired their advisors due to failure of communication, not because of performance. So if you can do the opposite and be the communicative source, there's a huge opportunity for you to, move in and be the agent or advisor of choice. So I'm going to share with you 4 different strategies that you can implement into your business to make this possible. Now, all of them are easy to implement. We can absolutely help. They're all at a low cost, except there's one of them that may be a little bit more time consuming to actually implement, maybe a little bit more pricey. But it's really up to you on what's going to fit for your budget, for your time, for your business. So I'm going to show you some different ways that you can do that. Now, when we think about market volatility, there is a lot of dissatisfaction. So there's a lot of opportunity, more people open to change. So let's talk about how we can position our businesses to be the best opportunity for them to change. Now, reframing your prospecting around your service offering. So instead of just thinking about endless leads, look internally, right? Think about your client base, the people that already know you. Those are absolutely your warmest, most engaged audience type that you have. Now, if you're getting leads from other sources, oftentimes they come in really cold. They take a lot of touch points to get a reaction or to get some engagement with. That's just statistically how things work. But if you already have a prearranged relationship with people, they know you, they've worked with you, they've liked you, then you should really start to harvest into that client base and push for more referrals. So these are a couple of excerpts that I've taken from some of our different campaigns, some of our emails. Really, you're just reframing the way that you ask for referrals. It's just best practices, right? Who else needs to hear this right now? Send this to a friend and family. If you know someone feeling uncertain right now and doesn't have the guidance, something like that, the level of support, I'd be happy to talk with them, no strings attached. So you're really creating opportunity versus asking for a favor. I know referrals can be kind of hard and a little bit awkward to ask for, but there are best practices and ways to do that and best ways to frame all of this. So that's one way to grow, is make sure that your messaging is going out, and then looking, kind of broadening your views of prospects. We get pigeonholed into brand new leads. We always need more data, but sometimes we have a lot of data that we haven't mined yet. So consider that you have an audience. If you've already grown your business, maybe you're starting at ground zero, so there could be a different strategy for that. But if you have a client base, huge opportunity there. So number 2, let's think about how we can engage your prospect list. So we showed some of those timely emails. You definitely want to be time to lead, right? How quickly can we get this messaging to people? There's also opportunities for text message campaigns at Snappy Kraken. Within our content, we also add a text messaging element. So we can talk about that. Feel free to book some time with me and we can chat through if text messaging is available to you. People love to be able to communicate quickly. Also, the video messaging, it's a great way, obviously, to talk to clients, but it's a great way to build credibility and trust with your prospects as well. So prospect nurturing, those conversion sequences, you don't want to pigeonhole yourself just in email. You also want to be able to portray your credibility through your social platforms, through your website. We'll talk about that. And so at Snappy Kraken, we make campaigns, we call them omni-channel. It's just a fancy word for saying multi-step, multi-channel, making sure that you are easily reachable in all formats on all channels so that people can get into contact with you quickly. So here are a couple examples, right? Investment opportunities in volatile markets, recession investments, but there's also campaigns around long-term care, life insurance, annuities, more insurance focused as well. So don't fear, a lot of my content is focused for wealth managers, but there are plenty of content for insurance agents and insurance focused advisors who want to be able to grow their business. So if you have any questions on that, feel free to ask away. I'm happy to go through some of those topics as well. Now, I mentioned slightly about the website, and I think that's a major foundational piece of your website. Now, I know that IAMS has an aspect of their marketing that they offer websites as well. So I'm not sure how competitive we become with each other, but if there are any questions, either directly through IAMS or through us, we can always talk about upgrading websites, how to make these more of conversion tools. A lot of times we use them as online business cards, and we find that we're not generating all that many leads. There's not a lot of traction. So we have some ideas. There's a possibility, if you see this little banner up here, get your recession survival guide. This allows prospects to engage with you beyond just booking a meeting. They say that meeting with a financial advisor or an agent can be more worrisome than booking an appointment with a dentist. And so that just fear is in people's minds. They think they're going to spend all this money. They're worried that you're not the right advisor. They don't know if you're qualified. And so giving them some type of bite-sized piece of your value, like a recession survival guide, it allows them to get more information without having to dive a lot deeper. But it gives you data versus people clicking on your website, clicking off. Now you can start to capture people that are stopping by. So updating your website to reflect your brand, it's a really important foundational. If nothing else, I think you have to have a great website, not just a pretty website, but a conversion tool. So if you don't, let's chat about that. We have some opportunities. And then last one, I said there was one that's a little bit more time consuming, a little bit more costly, though we make it as easy as possible to be successful with events here at Snappy Kraken. We always think that those personal connections are one of the best ways, if not the best way, and the best conversion rate is having events, asking your clients to bring friends and family, doing events in your community, building that community aspect of your business. And at Snappy Kraken, we give you tools to be able to send out invitations, have all the RSVPs in one place, all the follow-ups, the confirmation, all of those fancy tools we give you. All you need to do is just drop in the event information and then share this to your desired list of people. So that's a great way to do this, right? You can do it at a restaurant, right? Something nearby, have some type of reservation. But here's an example of what one of those looks like. You have a lot of flexibility, right? Not everyone's going to take their clients and prospects to Chicken and Pickle. So you can customize these for whichever place you choose, whichever one's best for you. But here's a couple of examples of how that looks. Now, I know we're getting close to time. So if you are a client and you're not using Snappy Kraken to its fullest potential, I want to make sure that you have access to our team to be able to touch base with us, get more information on how to use us. And so there is a client section to be able to book a team with our customer experience, book a meeting with our customer experience team. And when you sign up with Snappy Kraken, you get a full partnership in marketing. You're not just getting the technology, you're getting a customer experience team that helps you to learn it, launch it, track it, so that you are successful moving forward with this. We even have a done for you option where it's completely hands off. We take care of deploying the content for you. We help you with the website. And so it's a total holistic approach. So if you want to learn more on how to communicate better, if you want to have the tools at your fingertips that only take a few seconds to deploy, become more visible to your prospects and your clients, feel free to book a time. This is my calendar link. Again, it's in the chat as well. You can book a time directly with me. I don't keep my calendar open very often, but this month I absolutely want to be available. I think it's probably more important than ever to make sure that we're all on the same page on how to do this and be successful with it. So I absolutely am available. Now, that is really the majority of what I have for you. But before I click off, there is one last offer that I want to give you. Now, at IAMS, we have an incredible partnership with you guys. So we do offer 15% off here at Snappy Kraken. But for those of you left, I've seen a couple of people jump off, but I want to offer this to you who is still here. We are offering 2 free months of Snappy Kraken. This is just on me, only in my calendar. I don't think any going to be offering that either. You're not going to see it in a newsletter. This is really just for those who have attended this webinar. So if you want to book a time with me, I will offer 2 free months of Snappy Kraken to get you started so you can use these timely emails. You can jump into some of the campaigns and they'll be available to you ASAP. So yeah, wanted to make sure that that was open. I've seen a couple of people drop off. I can send them an email so they can have it to you, but it's a good offer.
That's awesome. Very much appreciated, Kendall. I don't think anyone was expecting that here, so I hope you guys are listening. But I will for sure be reaching out to everybody that is registered and all of the attendees on here as well, making sure they get your information, book a demo with you, and also going to remind them of that offer. That is very special, you guys. So I really, really hope you guys are listening because it's a great, great platform. You guys, and then one thing I did want to ask, this is great for agents that already have a book of business and for agents that are maybe building their book of business. What are your suggestions or what are the ways that Snappy Kraken can help?
For those who are building out your business, I know that's always the hardest jumping off point, right? So the data is really the largest portion. How do we grow your audience in the most viable way? So, website is absolutely the number one way. 93% of global traffic comes from Google. And so making sure that you have your website up to date, that's optimized for Google, you have calls to action where people can connect with you is majorly important. But then there's also, tools within Snappy Kraken once you start to build out some of that data where you can nurture these prospects. I'll work with agents. They're spending maybe $40, $150, sometimes more on leads and then sending out a cold call, maybe an email, and they're finding that the conversion rates are rather low. So you do have to have a tool like Snappy Kraken or something similar. Maybe you're doing it yourself, that you have multiple emails, multiple touch points, and really kind of looping them back to you so that you're not just paying for the lead, but you are seeing the conversion. So I could talk, a whole presentations on lead generation, something we could talk about in the demo if you guys want to get closer to that too.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think, we can have all of the presentations, all of the logistics, but there's always that missing gap of empathy and just, personalization. And so you guys definitely take full advantage of the offering that Kendall has given us today, because that's a great offer. And then, of course, you do get 15% here with IMES as well. So certainly take full advantage. I'll be putting up a poll here, launching a poll to see if you would like some more information on Snappy Kraken. That way we could also, let me launch that. That way we can also maybe get some of the votes in here. Let's see. I don't see anything yet. But of course I am going to be reaching out. I just have to launch this poll really quick.
No problem.
I don't see this, so I'm going to go ahead and close that out. And then again, thank you so much, Kendall, for all of the work you did. And then for the offering, of course. Again, I'll be reaching out. I'll be talking about Snappy Kraken. I feel like I also got a very town hall view of Snappy Kraken. So I will be talking about Snappy Kraken a bunch, especially because if I were an agent in the field running my practice still, I certainly wouldn't want to miss out on that personal touch and that gap that there always seems to be. I feel like the nurturing engagement with the software is just on point. So certainly I will be reaching out.
Well, I appreciate that. And, for this offer, probably I can't push for, I probably have another week or so in it. So if there are,
Yeah.
if people come up in conversation, if you guys have any referrals or anything like that, you can share that. And, I think you have my calendar down here in the chat. I can also send that to you too. Just make sure they book with me and I'll be able to extend that as well.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Nope. I'm going to be saying you guys got 1 week, do it or lose it.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate the time. Thanks everybody for joining me and having me on. I always appreciate chatting with IMES. Any questions, you guys just let me know, but thanks so much.
Absolutely. Thanks again. I've got 2 more polls to launch really quick and then I'm going to jump right off.
All right. Thanks.
Alrighty. Thanks so much. Bye, Kendall.
Bye.
I think we've only got 4 attendees here, so I did just want to give you guys the opportunity to go ahead and vote, see if you would like to attend our Life and Annuity Academy. I will be closing this in 3, 2, 1, and then that would be it.